If people only know one thing about Polytopia, it's that it's Elon Musk's favorite video game. Elon Musk put the game in every Tesla car and has repeatedly boasted that Polytopia is the best strategy game, even better than chess. Also, Elon Musk has a list of life lessons he took from playing Polytopia. But what does he know about the game? Let's see what Elon Musk has said about Polytopia and if he's right or wrong. Elon Musk has a reputation as a gamer, saying he's played the entire evolution of video games, from Pong, Space Invaders, and Pac-Man, to Quake, Overwatch, and Elden Ring. He talks about video games as systems for strategic thinking and decision-making, often using them as analogies for real-world problem-solving. The game he holds up above all the rest is Polytopia, a 4X strategy game that's all about exploring the map, building cities, researching tech, finding treasure, and fighting your opponent. Let's look at 5 points that Elon Musk has said about Polytopia and if he's right or wrong. Number 1. Is Polytopia better than chess? Not only does Elon Musk say that Polytopia is the best strategy game, he says Polytopia is more complex than chess because there are more options. Let's take a closer look at this. Is a game simple if it uses the same board and pieces every time? Musk frames chess as shallow compared to Polytopia because it lacks the fog of war, tech trees, and options for getting lots of different units. It's true that Polytopia has different map sizes, map types, different tribes to choose from, and even different game modes. The might mode is similar to chess, where you need to capture your opponent's capital to win, but unlike chess, where each player has a single focus to capture the king, most victories in Polytopia come from claiming opponent territory and killing lots of troops. If you play Glory, you win by getting the most points, not to mention single-player modes like Perfection, Domination, and the Weekly Challenge. But no, the biggest thing that sets chess apart from Polytopia is its RNG. Chess has perfect information. Its strategy comes from figuring out all possible moves and calculating the optimal approach. Polytopia is more about keeping your options open, understanding the potential win conditions, and capitalizing on opportunities. Both chess and Polytopia require calculation and anticipating your opponent's moves, but Polytopia has uncertainty. If you like Polytopia, you probably have a preference for uncertainty-based strategy and adapting as you go. It's not a measurement of complexity, but level of information. What's more, many pro players argue that the biggest problem with Polytopia is its unbalanced spawns and asymmetrical tribes. There's no such thing as a spawn loss in chess. Chess is not simpler than Polytopia. Chess lacks the RNG of Polytopia. Also, it's worth noting that Polytopia and chess aren't even in the same genre. Chess is more of an abstract strategy game, and Polytopia is a 4X Civ-like game. The second point is a life lesson that Elon Musk said he learned from Polytopia. Kimball Musk, Elon Musk's brother, said his brother regularly counsels him to avoid being overly empathetic in his work. When you're playing a video game, there's no empathy. So is empathy helpful in Polytopia? Empathy is defined as the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person, including their thoughts and behaviors. Empathy does not mean agreeing with or even sympathizing with someone else. It means being able to see things from another person's point of view. In Polytopia and in life, it's a good skill to be able to put yourself in another person's shoes. This might be to join forces for mutual benefit or to counter an opponent's moves. One of the most important parts of Polytopia is being able to anticipate what your opponent will do so you can counter it. A link to our video about Polytopia strategies and counter strategies is in the description. In Polytopia, you need to understand what your opponent is thinking and planning. For example, if you see your opponent is sending a unit to pick up that last lighthouse, you need to realize that getting the Eye of God will give them a giant and allow them to unsiege their capital. You have to stop it. Depending on the number of opponents in a game, you may want to form alliances, send peace treaties, and place embassies. Big free-for-all games require carefully timed peace treaties. Who to send peace to is just as important as when. If you don't understand the other player's situation, your peace offer will be pointless. And obviously, 2v2 and 3v3 games require teamwork to win. Teamwork means communication. Good communication means listening. Good listening means empathy. Even if you're playing single-player mode versus bots, you need to understand bot behavior. Bots are predictable. Maybe it's not exactly empathy, but it's still important to know what the bots are going to do. In Polytopia, the ability to empathize is key to understanding other players and your path to success. The third principle we want to address that Elon Musk says comes from Polytopia is do not fear losing. Become fearless, emotionless, and don't be scared to take risks. But does this fearless attitude work in Polytopia? Let's look at this in the game. As mentioned before, Polytopia has a lot of randomness and chance. Losing due to RNG and bad luck can happen in Polytopia. Just ask the players who got a fishing ruin on a Drylands map. So learning how not to let those losses affect you emotionally is a valuable skill. Also, Polytopia is one of those games where if you play too safe, you will lose. One of the best Polytopia YouTube videos is an April Fool's prank by Gully, where he reveals the secret OP strategy of Umaji's spiritualism rush. You sit in your city for many turns, hiding in the fog so your opponent cannot find you until you get spiritualism and win by planting forests. We'll put a link to this iconic video in the description. But the point here is that playing too safe is a joke. So you can't play it too safe, but playing Polytopia fearlessly can backfire. If you make a move and don't consider the consequences, that could be big trouble in Polytopia. For example, if you line up a bunch of squishy units and don't know there's a knight hiding in the fog, you could lose your whole army. In Polytopia, it's important to look before you leap. Evaluating options, critical thinking, and careful execution makes for sound strategy. While it's true that the fear of failure can hold people back, risking everything on a gamble and hoping for a big payoff rarely works out in Polytopia. When you look at the top players who made it to the World Championships, they are not risk takers. They are careful planners. It might be better to say, learn from your mistakes, or practice makes perfect. Playing lots of games and practicing versus challenging opponents helps give you perspective. When you lose, look at the replay. Think what you could have done differently. See what your opponent did to beat you. If possible, play games with mentors who can explain why you lost and how to improve. By the way, the best place to find skilled players and experienced mentors is in our league. To play Polytopia with us, join our Discord. A link to the Discord server is in the description. So, do not get used to losing. Get used to thinking. Get used to practicing. Get used to learning from mistakes. But don't get too upset if you have a bad spawn or get ramming from a ruin. Another life lesson that Elon Musk reportedly sees in Polytopia is doubling down to grow. When Elon Musk believes in something, he tends to risk more rather than back off. But does this work in Polytopia? In Polytopia, you need to be able to adapt. You have to be able to change your strategy as the features of the map and your opponent present themselves. For example, what if you were thinking to get hunting to upgrade your capital, and then you find 3 mountain ruins? Definitely time to go climbing. Maybe you initially thought Rider Roads was a good idea, and then your opponent shows up with a giant. Riders won't work. You need to switch tactics, counter that giant by getting your own giant or picking up some ranged units. What if you send a giant to capture a city, but you find a couple of mine benders? Time to change course. Doubling down, like not considering alternative strategies or stubbornly pursuing a tactic just because you thought it was a good idea a few turns ago, is not good for Polytopia. The last game-to-life approach that Elon Musk reportedly took from Polytopia is being proactive and setting the strategy. It's a lot like the double down and fearless attitudes. He believes that aggression is inherently superior to patience. Elon Musk told Siobhan Zilis that she could never win Polytopia unless she took charge of setting the strategy. This is partly wrong and partly right. While going aggressive can be a smart decision in Polytopia, it can also be a mistake. Proactively moving against an opponent depends on the map and your opponent. To make a tactical push, you need to be sure you have the troops and range for your attacks to be worth it. You need vision on your opponent to be sure a siege will hold, or at least be a decent trade. Delayed engagement, sometimes called turtling, is a valid strategy, especially in free-for-all and team games. Rushing in and going for a middle village on a tiny map will usually backfire. As before, Polytopia is a game of carefully evaluating the map, the resources, and your options. Going greedy, going aggressive, it can backfire. Because there's so much unpredictability and RNG in Polytopia, being too aggressive too early can be a mistake. So yes, Polytopia is a great strategy game with complexity, variety, and uncertainty. A lot of what Elon Musk has said about Polytopia is wrong, but I will admit some of what he said about the game is right. In fact, there are a few of Elon Musk's life lessons from Polytopia that we didn't include in this video, and they are spot on. If you want to see us make a video about why Elon Musk is right about Polytopia, leave a comment below. Also, please like and subscribe. It helps us a lot. If you're new to Polytopia, watch our beginner's guide. Take care. See you on the next one.